Hi there, welcome back. I'm just going to take another look here at the Christ Horus Child's head in Paris, and I just was looking at this and thinking, wow, that looks like a dove. And here we are in France, where the Cathars lived, and we have a city that's named after Isis, which is equivalent, I believe, as far as I can tell from my research, equivalent with Magdalene, equivalent with Marie, equivalent with the Mother Goddess, who was revered by the Cathars. So there should be a dove or a bird here. And so I was editing my own video, and this just popped out at me. That's why it's good to, look at the screen, and it's amazing how seeing the same picture in different formats will help things pop out. And I also want to point out that the elite do like to layer and layer their codes. They are very smart. They might be naughty or, not taking the time to teach the smaller people about things, but they do like to layer their codes. They are very smart. We got to hand that to them. So I'm going to add another layer here. All right, so I'm just going to do some audio over this time lapse. I was amazed, and I lost all the audio, the original audio that I took for this. I don't know at this time when I'm drawing this if I'm thinking that this is a dove or if I'm yet realizing that this is most likely a phoenix. What made me realize that it might be a phoenix is the very long tail. And also I realized that this bird is over the Christ child, and the phoenix has resurrection symbolism. So that makes sense that this is actually a phoenix and probably not a dove, or it could be both a dove and a phoenix. So I'm not sure at the time of drawing this time-lapse if I'm actually realizing that this is a phoenix yet. But here I'm looking at the legs and looking to see, because I was wondering if this dove was holding an eyeball. I didn't find an eyeball. I did find the legs. We can see the plumage. Looking there, looking here. I'm looking for fire. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I realized that this is a phoenix right here at this point, but didn't find any firehouses down there after extensive looking. So here I am. There's some feathers. I showed you the feathers that show the plumage on this leg. See them right there? Yeah, this is an 8 times. I sped the video up 8 times because I know you have other things to do in your day. So that's a pretty nice bird. I believe that is a phoenix. And it has the hippodrome as one of its eyes. I think there's a time lapse on this bird. One of the eyes is a hippodrome. So here I am showing you how all the feathers are really detailed. These are not regular grid neighborhoods that they put right here. They line these neighborhoods up to be feathers. So that way you're just really not making this up. I mean, some of the lines aren't perfect. It's probably just because I'm expecting to see one image and actually finding another. But you could see the long tail on this phoenix. And actually, I couldn't get the whole long tail in this picture that I have here that I'm drawing on right now, because my computer crashes when I put that many videos into this, and then I try to layer it, and then my computer does not want to have that. So, but it looks like here I am realizing that we have a long wing and perhaps a long tail on this. What I also wanted to mention here, the hippodrome. I'm going to save the hippodrome comment for later. Now we're back in the womb of Isis. I'm redrawing these babies here. I think there's 2 babies. I'm going to leave it open. It could be a time lapse of 1 baby. Those aren't the arms. I did the arms wrong right there. The twins are actually hugging each other. There could be 2 babies. This baby I'm drawing right here is a female child. You can see her womb in pink and some kind of water opening. Maybe both of them are the womb. Those are both hotels right there. And here I am drawing the chalice. That's the aquarium that I just drew. Here I am. I lost this file. So I lost this file right here. I'm going to lengthen this part so it'll go over the audio. yeah, my computer just died and would not save this. So that's the reason why I popped it back in on this video. I only have, yeah, so I lost this file. So anyway, these are the other overlays of the Christ, Holy Child. This one, the one with the finger in his mouth, is Harpocrates. I have one looking to he's looking east. Well, that one is just a child with this certain kind of hat on his head, and I still don't have the name of this hat. And then we have the child looking straight forward, and this reminds me of the screen, and I wonder if they are trying to reference that. You know, if you were the Holy Child and you saw what was happening today, you might have a face that looks somewhat like Edward Munch's Scream. So anyway, I know this is a little bit of a disturbing picture, but I left it in there for that reason. Hippocrates has a finger in his mouth, and I never did get to drawing. There is an overlay code where the Christ child is looking towards the mother, and it looks like I didn't draw that before I lost this picture, so I don't know if I'll get around to that or not, but I hope I will. All right, so we're going to go through just one last time, and I made this half speed. I wanted to call your attention, because I don't know if I've done this before, to the Harpocrates overlay of this. Okay, so right now we have the Scream overlay. I'm just going to call that the Edward Munch Scream. You know, what would Christ think if he could? Well, he does see this today. What would the Anointed One think? Okay, this one I want to show you. This is Harpocrates, and look, there is a serpent on his forehead, just like the statue of Harpocrates, and that's what I really wanted to draw your attention to with that overlay, because I don't know if I talked about that anywhere, or if I did, I lost the audio. So here we go again. That's Harpocrates with the serpent on his forehead. And if you zoom into that, there really is a serpent there. There's actually two serpents. They even did a time lapse of the serpent. And here's the beginning of the dove. Okay, now we're going to go on to new material. So let's see what's happening here. Oh, I'm talking about these alignments. I looked at these. I looked at these headings. So I looked at these headings and I took some stills. There are some important numbers here. I followed some of the headings out. I didn't really find anything except for, I think I found an alignment to some shipwrecks, but I don't know if it's worth mentioning. So I'm just going to leave this up here. Hopefully the video will have enough resolution for you to be able to see the measurements in case you have any ideas about these numbers. I do have a few stills in here. Oh, well, this measurement, I do remember offhand, it's a 55-degree heading. And I think I followed this out later in the video, but a 55 number is an alarm number. It's like when I decode movies with the gematria, it's always the alarming character like Snape, or the alarming moment. It has a word that has a 55 gematria. And so 55 heading has to do with alarm. That kind of feeling in your heart, that bump, bump, boom feeling, that's the 55. Like Quake has 55. So they are saying that the connection between the pineal and this pyramid is a 55 frequency for probably for the Holy Child. And that's interesting, because I just mentioned the Edward Munch, the Scream, you know, and that would also be a 55. I haven't analyzed those names or anything, but that would be a 55 feeling. That's that painting. So they must have designed this with some kind of idea of how the Holy Child would view perhaps the world today. So I hope you can see these measurements. And here we are going to go on to the next topic. Here we are in the womb of Isis. And I'm going to do some more measurements here, and I did find something pretty interesting, and I hope I will pop some of these stills that I put through my Paint Shop Pro. I'm very interested in this line, and you know, while I'm editing this, I'm getting a lot of numbers popping up. As soon as I said the word line, my video editing was at 4444. And I've had some readers comment on the numbers that are popping up in their life. And I actually did a video on why do these numbers keep popping up in our personal lives. It looks like somebody made these numbers with intention. And here they are in our personal lives. But back to this. This is a 1.91 mile knot diameter of this. It's a chord or a segment of this circle, and that is a raw. It's a raw mirror. Raw is the number of 19. It's R plus A, and it is encoded everywhere in our world. So it's doubly encoded there as a mirror. Whenever you see a mirror, you know that you are encoding it correctly. It's almost like a confirmation. The heading of that segment that is going into the heart of this child, this does go in a different direction, and I'm going to probably stop and speed this up, but I want to keep the video slow for people who are paying attention to these measurements. This is a 55 length from the bottom of the chalice to the heart of the child, and we just spoke about 55, and this is the inner chalice, from the foot of the inner chalice to the bottom, from the foot to the bottom of the chalice there. And it looks like, I can't really see it through my editing process, but it looks like it might be a 75 or maybe a 74. I couldn't see it. Measuring the heading the other way, because sometimes the headings don't pop out unless you measure them the other way. All right, so we're just going forward. My cell phones, my cheapy cell phones that I'm recording on are taking turns failing. So that's why I sound a little different in each segment, because I have a few cheapy phones, and we're just going back and forth with whichever one doesn't need a charge or is working at the moment. So here's this length and alignment of the long part of the chalice of the outer chalice. This chalice is this part of the chalice is the Washington Monument. The monument is the stem of the chalice. This is also code for the stars of Orion. These stars of Orion point at the wormhole of Ra in all of our star maps, as found by, here I'm showing you something else, as found by Wayne Herschel. Hopefully I'll go back into that concept. Very important concept. But look at this. There seems to be a dragon horse right here. So, okay, I'm going to zoom in and show this to you. Here we go. We're going to look at its head. You can see that it's wearing a bridle or a headdress of some kind. I found this on the Ishtar Gate because I thought, you are making this up. You do not see a dragon horse here. But look at this horse's head. There are two black roofs, the eye and, look at this eye and the nose. There's only two black roofs on the head here. I don't think that's a coincidence. I think this is meant to be Ishtar. This is in the body of Isis, who is also known as Inanna Ishtar. She's known by many names: Greek, Roman, Anunnaki, Christian, Egyptian, on and on and on. And these creatures are on her Ishtar Gate in ancient Babylon. Please see my videos on ancient Babylon, because there's another face of Isis right there. There's another face of Ishtar Inanna. She has a whole head there, and all of ancient Babylon is in her eye. Casey at Into the Stars has done a lot of work on our world in the eye. Please see his work. While you're looking at these alignments, there's a parallel line here, so they're emphasizing this heading, and I don't remember what it is offhand, so I'm gonna have to come back to that. But let's just talking about ancient Babylon and the eye in the ancient Babylon video that I did, where the world of ancient Babylon is inside the eye. On the cornea of that eye is Saddam's palace. You know, it's just very strange. So, Casey, if you haven't seen that, please go look at that video about Isis, Marie, Ishtar, all of them in ancient Babylon, and how the world of ancient Babylon is in the eye. if you, while I'm poking at things here on this dragon horse, I'll tell you that if you, from that video, if you follow that alignment out, her view, ancient Babylon, we're talking about ancient Babylon right here. There's a picture of Isis in ancient Babylon. If you follow the view of her eye out along the 32, 32, 32, 32 coordinate from Daniel 5, which is the scripture about the writing on the wall, if you follow that heading out, please go see that video. It lines up to the Freedom Tower, and that was I caught that discovery live on the video, so you can watch me being astonished about that. And it lines up perfectly with the Washington Monument, which is the stem of that chalice, and it lines up perfectly with the Georgia Guidestones, which have been in the news. They have been coding and coding and coding the numbers of the Georgia Guidestones over and over again in the news. The Georgia Guidestones, oh, here I'm stopping the video to show you a still, because I swear, oh my gosh, I swear this is a rocking horse. Look at the arch on the bottom of this horse. This is a toy for the child, and we have an unborn girl child in this womb. This could be Isis, Ishtar, Inanna. So this looks like a toy, a rocking horse toy for this child. And next we're going to come up to the actual pictures of the Ishtar gate. This is the dragon as it is seen. It is walking to the left. They probably have some walking to the right, but I flipped it to show you it walking to the right. I'm going to do an overlay eventually in Google Earth to see whether I'm just making this up or not. Here's a picture of the Ishtar Gate with all the creatures, including a unicorn and a lion, in Berlin. So it just is pretty amazing. I think my phone just died. No, phone, you didn't die. Oh, good. All right. It looked like it died. I have to keep looking at the phone because it turns off on its own. So here we are back looking at this dragon horse that I just showed you on the Ishtar Gate. And I did a drawing. Yeah, I'm right here. I'm showing you its tongue. This will tell you that this is not a regular horse, because regular horses don't have long serpentine tongues. So it just gets stranger and stranger, and I appreciate you hanging in with me and going on this wild journey. It looks like the designers of this area put a toy here for the baby Inanna Ishtar girl. Maybe there's a little boy in the womb too. Looks like there's two babies in there. And this is a rocking horse. I did a drawing just of the horse, but now I can see while I'm editing it, it looks like it's on a rocker. Amazing. You know, you just can't make this stuff up. This is, I'm showing you the legs, the hind legs. There's a golf course here that is the tail of this horse, of this dragon horse. I'm talking about, I must have lost this audio. I'm talking about how they're probably going to finish that leg when they build more houses right there next to Disneyland. Or hotels. When I zoomed in, I think those were hotels, probably fancy houses for fancy people. So here's the tails, and it looks like this dragon is actually, see the line going back from the saddle backward? This dragon is pulling something. This horse is pulling a chariot. And, you know, I looked at the chariot, and it doesn't look like they finished it yet, because it doesn't have any wheels. So, you know, it's good to have mysteries. That's still a mystery. Here we are back taking a few more measurements. I did work on these headings, and I'm speeding this up so that you don't have to go slowly with me. It's already getting to be a long video. This is the line that goes right through this child, and so I wanted to know more about it. And first of all, I take it to the northeast, and we did get up to Norway here, and I might have found some very interesting shipwrecks. If you can't see it at this altitude, but there are shipwrecks up there in Norway. There's some inland water where there's shipwrecks, and there's 44 numbers associated with that. So I wasn't sure if that was worth going into detail. Now we're going to take it back this other way, and now the video is going down to real time. It was sped up so that you can see that I'm as surprised as you are. This is a real-time discovery. I don't know where the actual audio is. Probably the phone failed, so I have to record the audio, but this is a real-time discovery. I'm actually amazed right now to see that this line that goes right through our Holy Child goes to Montségur, where there was a massacre against the Cathars by the Roman Church, and the Montségur saw Mary Magdalene as equal to Christ, and they saw all women as equal. So I just am speculating that there is a connection between this girl child and Montségur, and if the bad guys made this installation, which I'm guessing they did because it's Disney, they are basically tying the Montségur, like, you know, we triumphed over you, we triumphed over your equal woman religion, seeing the holy in both the male and the female, and that this line now bisects that child that's in the womb of Isis. You know, that could be the hidden message here. Depends on if the bad guys made this installation or not. And then I can't picture how the good guys are going to trick Disneyland into making an installation that has a positive message. But, you know, miracles do happen, and the universe speaks to us in many ways. So I'm going to try to withhold my judgment on the overarching message of these installations and just try to find these connections. Montségur has many other headings that are very, very interesting, and they will be in my Cathar videos. If you don't know about the Cathars, I didn't know about the Cathars till recently. They are really worth studying. It has a lot to do with the origin of the early, what you would call Christians, before they were all slaughtered by the Roman Church, and then the Roman Church sort of defined Christianity after that point. So these are the politics that, you know, they don't teach us in school, and we have to go find it out for ourselves. So I'm measuring back, because I lost the line. I accidentally clicked and it went away. Measuring back from Montségur to the womb of Isis, Marie, up here near Paris. So, wow, you know, that's another amazing discovery, I think. And this is a lot of fun. I'm glad you guys are hanging with me. I hope you find this fun. There is some very serious symbolism that we need to pay attention to. Wow, I'm lost. I didn't have my push pin in, so I'm trying to find the circle of the womb, and that's what I'm doing right now with the video. But there, while that's happening, I'll explain. We should go into the seriousness of this imagery. The length of the outer chalice is 3 miles, 3.29 miles. That is the 923 number again. The 923 is the Gregorian equivalent of the Julian 911. These are all birth numbers. And we obviously have a womb and a gestation. A healthy gestation is 266 days. The 266th day is 923. That is the day that in this year the 266th Pope will be arriving in Washington, D.C. So something is going on here. Plus, we have all of our apocalyptic literature pointing at the birth of a new era, or the birth of a new root race, some kind of birth. And so you can interpret this in a hopeful way. I think that loving goodness and kindness and an evolved soul is going to triumph during this era, and there will be some turbulence, I think, during this transition. But it looks like a lot of things are pointing towards the birth of a new age. I do not subscribe to the Roman Catholic belief that you must, you know, be in the Christian church. Yahshua was not a Christian. I am not a Christian. I am not a Gnostic. I am not Buddhist. I am not, I'm not in any club. And I think that I don't judge these clubs. I take the clues from them, and I know that each of them has something good and something distorted in it. And in the Christian church, they have a healthy dose of distortion, and one of them is they call Yahshua by the wrong name. They call him Jesus. His name is not Jesus. That was a bait and switch that happened a long time ago when everybody was illiterate, so nobody could catch on to this. There's no such name as Jesus in the original Aramaic and Hebrew writings before they were translated to Greek. And I don't think it's a coincidence that when they were translated to Greek, all of a sudden Joshua's name turned to Jesus, which means I am Zeus. So that's one of the distortions. The other distortion is that you must ask a Jesus into your heart and ask him to be your personal savior. That is a complete and utter tragic distortion on a huge level. We have gamillions of Christians who have taken an oath, basically, to ask a serpent god, Zeus, into their hearts. As soon as you do that, you are going to start to struggle with demonic tendencies. People just blame themselves when they have demonic thoughts. I think it has something to do with that you ask Jesus into your heart, dear ones. Please don't ask Jesus into your hearts. And I think that the church is a dangerous place. Every time you pray, you say the word Amen. That is a salute to Ra. You know, if they were telling you the truth, at least they could tell you that you are saluting Ra. I just think that would be an honest thing for them to say in church. They never teach that in church. You go to Bible study, they don't tell you what Amen means. It means the hidden one. Amun-Ra was hidden. He was locked away in the pyramid for being responsible for the death of his brother Dumuzi, and they locked him away in a pyramid, and from that time on, his followers referred to him as Amun-Ra. And later on, those became the Amun-Ra priesthood. They were corrupt. They sold tickets to heaven. This is why you see little weights in some of these pharaohs' tombs. They bought hundreds of weights they can put on their side so that they will weigh correctly when their heart is weighed against the feather. This is the equivalent of selling tickets to heaven. These guys were corrupt. Amun-Ra. So these are some of the distortions of the Christian church. Now, Christians, I love you. Please don't be angry with me. Joshua taught love. He taught non-judgment. He did not say, go thou, and go to church, wear your finery, and go to church, and this will make you better than your neighbors who don't go to church. While you're in church, please ask Jesus into your heart. Ask Jesus to make all your decisions for you. Joshua didn't say those things. People are not listening to the teachings of Joshua. It is a little frustrating to me. I'm actually more of a Joshua freak than these Christians. Just listen to Joshua. He has a lot of truth to say. He went to a lot of trouble to say a lot of things. People do not listen to what he says. All right, right here in the video, I'm pointing out the female parts of this child in the womb of Isis. Having lost the original video to this, having lost the original audio to this video, I think that I'm showing you the male and the female child here. I think that, because I haven't done a drawing of the male child, he has male genitalia. And I kind of got on my Jesus rant and forgot to notice when I'm actually zooming in on that so I could show it to you. But I just want to reiterate, beloved Christians, I know you have a good heart. I was in the churches. I saw your beautiful hearts when you reached to God. And the holy, true God does know your heart, and he does know your honest reaching. And you will not be punished for having said the wrong names or believed the wrong teachings that were taught to you. You won't be punished. However, I think while you are on this earth in these end times, you will feel more turbulence than people who have broken free of the church. The church is going to start, the pastors are going to start telling their people to listen to the government and follow the rules of the government during these upcoming turbulent times. You need to leave the church and take your study home to your family. Take your study home to the actual teachings of Joshua. And they are distorted in the Bible. The Bible is useful, but it's distorted. It came to the Nicene Council. That's why we know it's distorted. So you will need to use your own heart and your own truth, and the true seeking of your heart to discern what is right and what isn't right in these teachings. So That's my little speech on Christianity. I just don't want you guys to be mad at me. Oh, I'm showing you the eyeball of the little girl. And I think I showed you the eyeball and the nose of the little boy. It's all in the same head. Okay, so here is the soft palate of the little boy, and this is his nose, and that is his eyebrow, the top of his eye. There's two faces on this child, and this goes back to, I think there's there's symbolism of the twin here, and the twin faces of Janus. Now, the Christians are going to say that this is all evil, and, you know, maybe it is. I'm trying to leave morality out of this while I sort these clues out. But this twin symbolism, I believe, has to do with Venus. Janus has to do with Venus. The twins have to do with Venus. The twin towers have to do with Venus. The twin symbolism in Tutankhamun's tomb has to do with Venus. The twins of the gospel have to do with Venus. There's twin symbolism in Viracocha's artwork from his tomb. So I think that, sorry about all the clicking. I think my I know it's gone right now. My stereos do that. But so there's a twin face here. Isis had a twin brother, and I don't know well enough. I think that Osiris was either her brother or her twin brother, and there were a lot of in the early days of Mut, Tefnut, and Shu, and those early pharaohs was based on twins. So still a mystery because so much is hidden from us, but I think if we leave morality aside, we can start to unpack the symbolism of Venus, which is the morning and the evening star. Joshua said that he was one of these stars, and I don't remember which one he says, but there's twin symbolism in that. If you go to the Sun Temple, the Sun, these guys, oh, that's another aside. If you go to the Sun Pyramid in Mexico, they have rising and setting Venus angles in their buildings that they have down there, and what they're saying to the modern world and to their later reincarnation selves is that watch Venus. Venus has to do with the arrival of teachers, advanced teachers, and Venus has to do with sun cycles that are very, very challenging for humanity. So anyway, here in the womb of Isis we have more Venus symbolism. I think I'm looking for an obelisk here in the video. And this is an interesting obelisk. It has an 8-pointed star underneath it. Kind of like a virtual obelisk. It's a balloon. And there's some symbolism about this. The 8 does have to do with the number of Christ. It's the crossing of the loop with infinite time. The Christ energy, the anointed energy, is what teaches us to break out of the time trap. And Yahshua teaches love. Love increases your soul voltage. It pulls energy out of nowhere to increase your soul voltage, to give you a chance to break out of the time trap. Plus, it ripples out in all directions. It changes the world. Yahshua taught you, do not judge. Judging ties you to the time trap. It also clouds your ability to get information from your pineal gland. Don't judge. Christians are the biggest judgers ever. Love you guys. Don't be mad at me. But those are Joshua also taught. He said he showed us miracles. He showed how he could heal. Some of these, I'm showing you here how the twins are holding each other. Joshua taught us dominion over the physical. He wanted us to have dominion over the physical, not to be afraid of the physical. Draw your power from within. He said to you that you will do these miracles that he has done and more. And he was not kidding. And I do not know anybody, any Christians, or anybody of any religion that is teaching dominion over the physical, that you can walk on water, that you can heal the sick, that you can create food out of thin air. The yogis, I guess, like the yogis in India, they teach that. So, but no one who follows Christ teaches that, which is really kind of sad because that was one of his major lessons. All right, so I just want to say, if you are Christian and I have offended you, I am so sorry. Please don't give up on me. I love the teachings of Yahshua. I am looking for the true signs of the true teachings of Yahshua, and I'm doing this honestly, and I care about you guys. So don't give up on me. I will not, cause you to have any diminished rewards in heaven or anything like this. You're in no danger from listening to my videos and learning from the symbols that I'm exploring. So anyway, I'm just very compassionate about people who have been misled by Romans. And I just encourage you, lovies, to reassess everything you have been taught and seek honestly for true teachings. And that's my little rant. Sorry about the big rant on this one, and I hope you guys liked the discoveries with Montsegur and also the phoenix that we found. And I will not rant like this in every video. That's just my short rant. I might, refer back to it later, but I won't do that again and again. So I just felt like I had to talk about that. So talk to you later. Hope to see you again. Bye-bye.